Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay. So we were at verse 18 and 19 of chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita. And last time we went through the details and saw the points from Nikhilanandji about it, but we had not finished reading it. So we will read today Chinmayanandji, Swami Chinmayanandji's commentary. That's what it's going to be. We'll start with that. So any volunteers to read? So Meeraji, you are on, if you are okay with it.
Yes, absolutely. So, page 55. Sorry, do I read from the beginning?
So this is what you do. First you read जो 18 or 19 verses है ना, उसका जो English translation है वहाँ से शुरू कीजिए आप. From the unmanifested. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. From the unmanifested, all the manifested proceed at the coming of the day. At the coming of night, they dissolve verily in that alone, which is called the unmanifest. This same multitude of... Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to just
Should
mute.
I continue?
Yes, because there was some...
Umaji, aap bolenge?
Name, मैं नहीं बोली थी, but it's okay. I'll muted everybody now. I can do it from here too. Okay, go ahead.
This same multitude of beings is being born again and again and is dissolved into the unmanifest helplessly, O Parth, at the coming of night, and they come forth again at the coming of day.
So before we go forward,
these two stanzas,
1 minute. So before we go forward, just to kind of make sure that we are in the right place in our mind. So we were talking about the cyclic nature of this Brahmand or this cosmos. That's the main idea behind it. And that manifestation, sustenance, and dissolution, that the kriya that goes on in this is universe, or multi-universe, you can say now. That's what Krishna Bhagavan is explaining Arjuna. And in these two verses, in the second one, the 19, he's also talking about, he's explaining the theory of reincarnation a little more deeply, giving logic in it, because sometimes people have doubt, hey, do we come back or not? And, here it's like, there's no doubt after you hear Krishna Bhagavan's commentary, if you have faith in Krishna Bhagavan. So that's what we are, that how the same people are born and again because our unmanifested tendencies, they stay in that unmanifested state and they come out again. And we will see when Swamiji is actually in his commentary is going to explain very, very deeply that why so, the scientific reason he's going to give. Because he goes, 2 steps further in the depth of it. You will see when we are reading. So that's where we are.
In these 2 stanzas, an explanation is given on how the Creator employs himself during his day, which is 1,000 eons long, and during his night, which is also an equally long interval. It is also added here that the Creator creates during the day, and the entire created world, at the approach of his night, merges into the unmanifest, avyakt.
Okay, so here the unmanifest is the translation of the Sanskrit word avyakta, or jisko we all Hindi speaking. Vyakt karna means to express, and avyakt, which is in unmanifested form. And here, I was just going to bring out one point. Sometimes, like, is it really true or not? But subjectively, if we look at our own life, our 24 hours is also divided into night and day. And then the way, Nikhila Nanji had explained, when the dissolution happens, it's a slow process also. ऐसे नहीं कि वो जो अपने मूवीज में दिखाते हैं वो प्रलय आई और बूम करके सब चला गया, ऐसा नहीं है. It's like, when they talk about, of course on a like individual planetary system and all that can happen, but we're talking about now the dissolution of the whole cosmos. So remember that. So when we talk about this scale, they have taken it to the highest level, the scale. So 12 घंटे होते हैं दिन और 12 घंटे रात होती है, right? So जैसे हमारे लाइफ में होता है वैसे ही कॉस्मिक में भी होता है. That's why there is like macrocosm and microcosm. So even that way we know, if we look at our own life, we will understand also this very nicely. That what are they talking about? That, same दिन में हम लोग सब create करते हैं, and we are active and things like that. And as the शाम ढलती है, we also start getting winding up, right? Then we go to deep sleep and all that, and then we come back, then we wake up and do that again. Same exact way that he's talking about, that they are equally long interval, night and day. And the creator creates during the day or manifests during the day, and when the approach is at night, it merges. That's how we have to see it.
Yeah. Is it that for that long unmanifest when it goes the whole pralaya? For that long, it goes for that long as his day?
Yes, absolutely. Because that was in the previous verse also. He said that 4 yugas, and then we talked about the time scale, right? Together the 4 yugas 1,000 times. So that happens in the daytime, right? And then nighttime, utna hi lamba wo unmanifest rehta hai. It's almost like a recovery period. Sorry?
Okay, so there is nothing except consciousness.
Yes. Well, no, you cannot say that. That's very important what you said.
No, but the seed is there.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes. So consciousness plus the seed. Consciousness plus the seed is there.
The seed is there. Okay.
Yes.
The potentiality is there in consciousness itself, and the seed is there to produce exactly
you
the
can
same
say
thing as it's been. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
got it. Okay.
Yes.
In the worldly sense of the term, creation is generally understood as the production of something new. Philosophically viewed, creation has a subtler significance and a more intimate meaning. A pot maker can create pots out of mud, but he cannot create laddus, a popular Indian sweet, out of the same mud. The act of creation is only the production of a name and form with some specific qualities out of raw material in which the same name, form, and qualities already exist in an unmanifest condition. The potness was in the mud, while the ladduness is not therein, and therefore a pot can be created from a given sample of mud, not so even a tiny bit of laddu. Hence, it is concluded by the thinkers of Vedanta that creation is but a crystallization of the unmanifested dormant names, forms, and qualities into their manifest forms of existence.
Okay. So this is very, very deep. I'll try my best to explain whatever I understood about it. Okay. So what he's trying to tell you is, when we say Tattvamasi, right? You are God. What does it actually mean? Obviously, in my jiva form, I cannot be God because I'm just opposite of it. God is Sat Chit Anand, and I'm here, I feel like a mortal that I'm going to die, and, I'm like, it's Anand. Most of the time we don't have Anand. We have Dukh and Dukh over here in this Dukhalaya. So from the jiva perspective, it cannot be. But what they are trying to take us to is the raw material, what we are made up of. That whole Vedanta is, hey, you are that same raw material. And I think, to me, the best example is the waves and the ocean, that whether it's a small wave, big wave, or the whole ocean, everything is H2O. So just remember, that's one point over here. And the second point is कि जो raw material होता है ना, उसी का कुछ बन सकता है. That's all when he said about the laddu and all that, he's saying that mud में से mud pots ही बनेंगे. Laddu नहीं बन सकता. Right? Laddu बनाने के लिए you need a different raw material. So that's the point, because no example is perfect over here to give it for as far as Brahman is concerned. All he's trying to tell you is when they say that everything is Brahman, because everything is made from that one raw material. That's what he was going. So then, like sometimes the complete Nastic log hote hain na, like atheists, oh, I don't believe in God. Fine, you don't believe in God, no problem at all. Do you believe in yourself? Yes, I believe in myself. You exist? Yes, to that they can't deny, right? They're talking and all that. What are you made up of? Can you tell them what you made up of? And they have no answer. Where did you come from? Did you just kind of boom appear from somewhere? So they will be forced to think. So all they're trying to tell you is they're trying to take you backwards, who you are, and the raw material is Bhagwan. That's why they say everything is Bhagwan. Does that make sense? That's what they're trying to tell over here. Yeah.
Mamaji, this is it also meant to convey that if manifest, whenever you are manifested, it will be whatever raw material you are. Even the creator cannot change that. So अगर आप अपने जैसे भी आप अपने संस्कार बना के या जैसे भी आप आपका वो जब आप नहीं भी मैनिफेस्टेड होते हैं, आप जैसे होते हैं, उसी का ही मैनिफेस्टेशन हो सकता है. अगर आप मट्टी हैं तो आप लड्डू नहीं बनोगे.
वो भी बहुत अच्छा point है. Yes. So this particular paragraph you can take it both ways. The complete Brahman and Jiva ka relationship also you can take, that you are made up of the raw material, and what you said 100%, because when he talked about pralay and manifestation and unmanifestation, वो क्या चीज का होता है? तुम्हारे ही चीजों का होता है. You are absolutely right. And he's going to even hammer that in this further on, that if you have certain sanskars, you are going to be born with it and you will behave like that. He didn't discuss too much in detail about the fact that the humans only the humans have the capacity to change their sanskaras. Because when you come in contact with the world, like our teacher used to say, when the world kicks you, that's when you wake up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. For example, some people are addiction. They are so deep into addiction, then some incident happens in their life that wakes them up. That, hey, this is causing me to be in a destructive path, so now I can change, and things like that. So that's another aspect. And then of course, the highest thing they are telling you is that you are not completely helpless, because there is something called moksha, right? If you go towards that, then all this chakkar will stop. So many things are kind of, through this paragraph, you can think of many different things. But you are absolutely.
Can you just repeat the last sentence? I think I couldn't hear anything. Either problem was with mine or your.
Could other people hear me?
Repeat that last.
Okay.
I could hear you.
Okay, so what I was saying is that on one hand, when we read this, and then there is that word called avashaha is there in this verse 19. Avasha means helplessly we are being born, right? That's the point I was trying to make. On one hand, we don't need to get completely dejected, because Krishna Bhagwan ne bola, if you don't get the self-realization, then this avashaha. So there is a remedy there. It's not completely helpless. Even though in this verse he said that it is helpless, because the next verse he's going to say that your goal is to connect to that final unmanifested, which is like the eternal factor Brahman, which you really are. So that's what I was trying to bring the point. Yeah.
Now, when we talk about creation, he created something new or something like that. But here is, I thought of creation as something new being created, but
No.
here he's saying only of the unmanifested that comes out into manifestation is called creation.
He's going to
So
talk
here
about
when we
that.
talk about scientists and all that, when they say, okay, this is a new element is created, a new something is
Nothing
creation.
is new.
What would that be?
So
nothing, so-
nothing is new because even अगर basic science वाले के पास भी चले जाओ ना, I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me 100%, but whatever I understood, there are some basic elements in the universe also. They call it hydrogen and one or two other thing. हाँ, उसी का सारा mixture से वो different चीजें बनती है combination से. So it's even they will take you to the lowest one. And if you go to say atom, right? तो चलो बोलेंगे the smallest thing is atom. बोलेंगे कि नहीं लोग? हाँ. So अभी atom में भी जब उसको और भी ज़्यादा analyze करेंगे, then वो लोग बोलेंगे उसमें वो neutron and क्या बोलते हैं proton and फलाना ढिकड़ा सब कुछ है, and then वो it's going around and all that. And someone was saying that within the atom also the सबसे ज़्यादा खाली space होती है. Is that true? यहाँ पर कोई होगा फिजिसिस्ट हो मेरे को बताओ कि भाई उस एटम में भी जो प्रोटॉन और उसका जो सब मास होता है ना बहुत कम होता है, एम्प्टी स्पेस ज़्यादा है, and the proportion is the same like when you see in the universe, the space is the biggest thing out of element, yes. Right? So whether you go to microcosm or macrocosm, the proportion is the same. So there is nothing, absolutely nothing new created over here. And science also says matter becomes energy, energy becomes matter. ये तो science भी बोलता है, right?
Yes.
So
that's true.
So there we think in our ignorance that new is created. Swamiji is going to say the word creation is also not correct. It's manifestation is the right word. Because manifestation means, yes. But they just use the word creation as an English language or जैसे, उत्पत्ति बोल देंगे हिंदी में या संस्कृत में. That just for us little understanding. But if you go deep into Vedanta, nothing new is created. It's a cyclic thing. It's just projecting. And the best way to think about projection is, Swamiji is going to give few examples, is that snake and the rope thing. That rope is there, which is real, and the snake is projected on it because of my ignorance. That's all it is. And each person will see a different snake on it, according to their own vasanas. जो जिसके मन में बहुत fear होएगा उसको वो बड़ा कुछ कोबरा दिखाई देगा वहाँ पे क्योंकि वो मेरे को काट लेगा. And other person might say, oh, just ordinary snake. I don't know, whatever,
Even a garnet or something there.
Yes. Yeah, so now the question is, was the snake created? No. It just appeared and disappeared. So they are saying cosmos is the same way. It's hard for us to understand that, but from the Vedantic perspective, it's just an appearance. That's why they say, Jagat Mithya, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. That's why they say. Yeah. It's like the waves and the ocean. What is the existence of waves?
The ocean you can understand because the waves are out of the ocean. But here is the appearance. When we talk about snake and the rope, there's a difference in these two.
Why do you think?
Different elements. Whereas
don't worry about it's just that's why I say. It's very, very important in Vedanta. The one thing if I learned in all these years is take that example to learn a point and drop it.
Yes,
if you stretch it, you will get nowhere in that example because no example is perfect. So, that's why we have to just understand.
I think one more example is कि जब dead body को ले जाते हैं तो बोलते हैं राम नाम सत्य है.
हाँ.
So at that time, I think the point they want to make is कि देखो पूरी life तो जी गया वो, लेकिन life तो मतलब all of this is not true. Whatever is in this world is not true. Only God is सत्य बस एक ही है, वो भगवान है. बाकी सब मतलब मिथ्या है या false है या illusion है.
Right.
Is it the same thing?
Yes, it's exactly same thing. They are trying to remind you they are taking you to the highest Vedanta at that point. 100%. Because even if you read Ramayana, whether it's Valmiki, I don't know about Valmiki, I have not read so thoroughly Valmiki at all, so I don't know, but the other one I did. And उसमें ना कि भाई सब में राम समाये हुए हैं, यू नो,
हाँ,
राइट. तो वो
हाँ.
किस रूप में समाये हुए हैं? आत्मा के रूप में समाये हुए हैं. और यहाँ पर कृष्ण भगवान ने बोला अर्जुन को कि आई एम द वन हु इज सीटेड इन द हार्ट्स ऑफ एवरीवन. So it's the same thing. Whether you take it, you can call it Ram, you can call it Allah, you can call it, Christ
Right.
element or consciousness, Christ conscious, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Doesn't matter. You can give it whatever
Yeah.
name you want. But they are talking
Right.
about the same factor which is in everybody, which is the raw material. That's what Swamiji is pointing towards. That from that raw, that's one point. And the second point is what you said, Meeraji, that, when we are born in this world, we are born because our tendencies were in unmanifested form and now they have manifested.
And they can only be manifested जो भी raw material
Exactly.
हमने तैयार किया हुआ है. अगर हम मट्टी हैं तो हमारा लड्डू बना के भगवान नहीं भेज सकते.
नहीं भेज सकते. In
वो
fact,
तो
हम लोग पूछते हैं कभी
कौन
कभी,
बनेगा आपका?
what you said, very truth. It's like, जो हम लोग कर्मों का भी ये हिसाब है कि whatever you sow, that's what you reap. So he's saying that, okay, I have a avocado seed, so I planted avocado in my yard, and then I got avocado, right? Because I planted. Then I'm looking at my neighbor. Oh, he's got apple. Oh, I love apple. Oh God, please, please, please make my tree, apple tree. Will he be able to do it? No. He's not gonna, God cannot do it. So why are you praying to God? Oh, पहले बुरे कर्म कर लिए सारे, अब उसका रिजल्ट मिल रहा है, प्लीज चेंज द रिजल्ट, प्लीज चेंज द रिजल्ट. गॉड इज नॉट गोना बी. ऑल यू कैन से इज गिव मी स्ट्रेंथ टू डील विद दिस रिजल्ट. नेक्स्ट टाइम आई वोंट डू इट. राइट. बट तुम जाके गंगा में जाके नहाओ और सारे पाप धुल जाएंगे, सबसे बड़ा झूठ है. Yes, it is true that you will get inspired not to do more. That can happen.
Yes.
And whatever results you're going to get, you can ask for strength to deal with it. That's it you can do. But even God cannot change that, because it is even जिन्होंने अवतार लिया, उनको भी देखो क्या क्या झेलना पड़ा. कृष्ण भगवान ने तो गांधारी का श्राप लेके भी सारा ले लिया. अपनी पूरा उनका कुल डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया. And the way he got left this world was exactly the way she gave him shrap. So he was God. He could have done anything. No. He's not going to change that. So that's exactly what you're saying. You cannot change whatever you are. You can change with your own purusharth, you can change. But that will be your own purusharth. You cannot ask God suddenly to twist something. So I think I'm glad we had that discussion.
I have a comment on this because I'm looking at this totally differently. What he's saying is everything is nashwar. Only thing permanent is consciousness. So if you start from the top, and I'm looking at this definition all the way through, it describes seconds, minutes, hours, our lifespan. Even Brahma is not permanent. So like they are saying, one day of Brahma, they have 360 days of Brahma. Every night he gets up, he starts the Srishti, and morning he dissolves. And so if 360 days of Brahma is one Brahma a year, 100 years of Brahma is one lifespan of Brahma.
True.
Now, there is only one kalpa. And so every breath of Vishnu creates a Brahman. So it's all temporary. The only thing is permanent is our consciousness.
No, true. That's
And
exactly
we are
what we did. Yes.
insignificant and we are insignificant compared to all that.
Yes.
So nobody is permanent.
That's exactly what the point is. And then, he's just telling you there's only one thing permanent, and that is that consciousness. And then you have to go towards it. But we were talking about it that हर एक स्क्रिप्चर में ना कोई भी क्रिएशन की थोड़ी बहुत क्रिएशन की थियोरी होती है. बिकॉज हमारा जो माइंड है ना, वो जब तक हम लोग को ये सब थोड़ा समझ में नहीं आता, वी कैन नॉट मूव फॉरवर्ड. सभी को ये क्यूरियोसिटी होती है, हाउ डिड द वर्ल्ड कम अबाउट, वेयर इज इट गोइंग, व्हाट इज लेंथ ऑफ टाइम, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट वी नो. In the moment you go in that consciousness realm, there is no time. It's beyond time, right? And forget about consciousness. Even when you go in deep sleep, we have discussed this so many times, there's no time there. Whether you slept 1 hour or 8 hours, the only way we know it when we look at the clock. If you didn't have the clock, and you wouldn't know how many hours you slept. Everybody agrees with that? So there, all these experiences they are talking about beyond time, we also experience it. We just don't analyze it. That's why we don't know about it. So, yeah, everybody's correct in their analysis over here. Because it's a very deep subject and you can take many different angles to look at this.
What fascinated me was they said there are infinite Brahmans like this in the universe, and they are owned by an infinite number of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh.
Yes, we talked about it last. If you didn't hear the recording, you go back, because I had discussed that. Nikhilanandji brought that out. Remember that one day of विष्णु जी में एक ब्रह्मा जी आके चले जाते हैं, एंड जो शिव जी है ना, जो वो एक पलक झपकते हैं उतनी देर में विष्णु जी एट द एक ब्रह्मांड वाला विष्णु जी. हाँ, then there is a Mahavishnu that we didn't want to go there, but so true that they have done all these things are in our Puranas. तो जितना भी आपको मसाला चाहिए, जितना भी आप वो सब्जेक्ट में डीप जाना चाहते हैं, there is material available. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, what you said is the most important thing. Up to the loka of Brahmaji also, which is the highest loka for mortal like us, it is temporary. So if we can get that message, then we are good.
Also, Hindu calendar, when they pray, they tell exactly where we are.
Yes, we discussed that. Yes, you are absolutely correct. And I also learned that while doing this, that right now the Brahmaji's Ayu is 50 years according to that calendar. So he is right smack, जिसको बोलते हैं ना, mid life में है अभी वो. वहाँ उनको भी mid life crisis हो रही होगी शायद, I don't know. Just a joke.
उमा जी, ये काक बशुंडी जी बोलते हैं कि उन्होंने कितने ब्रह्मांड देखे, कितने विष्णु देखे.
आपने बताया था. यस.
उन्होंने बस एक ही नहीं देखा. जो भगवान राम थे वो सब जगह एक ही थे, बाकी सब जगह पे उसने कितने लोग अलग अलग देखे.
Interesting. Yeah, so see now you can understand this is what happens. Once you read Bhagavad Gita, you understand the Puranas better. When you read the Puranas, you understand Bhagavad Gita better. So it's a very complementary thing to do these things, for sure. Okay, see how fascinating this is, that we also get caught up into this temporary world. Okay, let's go.
When a philosophy does not give this exhaustive definition of the term creation, it brings about among the students confusions regarding the theory of creation which it propounds. In many of the hasty religions of the world, wherein its only prophet is not even given a fair chance to preach his entire creed along with his philosophy exhaustively, their theory of creation is an intellectual paradox and cannot stand the scrutiny of reasonable investigation, even for a few moments.
Okay, so here Swamiji is just pointing to some other religions, their creation theories, that it cannot stand scrutiny of reasonable investigation. That's all he's saying, because our Vedanta has so many facets, and they all are in line with science. And you saw that when we saw that Big Bang theory, it fits in exactly with our Vedanta. The only difference is that, which I was going to, in the next verse, when we were going to do the commentary, I was going to talk about it, that the only thing that they don't talk about it is that substratum. But the cyclic thing they also talk about, exactly like the way we have been doing. So he's just saying that, and then the comment that he made, that it's only prophet bola hai, because there is only started by one person, whereas our Sanatan Dharma has been, there is no one person who started Sanatan Dharma. It's an eternal science, right? So that one prophet was also not given a fair chance to preach, because usko bhi thoda manipulate kar dete hain log. And then unfortunately, like I think in Islam as well as in Christianity, after few hundred years later that they wrote what Jesus was saying or something. I don't know, few hundred, or I don't know exact time frame, but maybe Meera ji might know that whereas ये भगवद गीता जैसी चीज है ना, वो उसको बोलते हैं भगवान उवाच. It's coming straight from the lips of Lord Krishna, But वहाँ पर वो उनके disciples ने याद कर करके लिखा. उसमें एक तो change हो सकता है. फिर there was only one person, तो वो उसको जो बोलना होगा बेचारा बोल भी नहीं पाएगा because कितने लोगों ने misunderstand किया उसको. I mean, I was just watching a series about Jesus and his relics and things like very interesting on Netflix. But it's like so many people misunderstood. तभी उसको सूली पे चढ़ा दिया, right? So even they misunderstand him so much. So उसको chance भी नहीं देते हैं कि वो क्या बोलना चाहता है उस बोलने के लिए. That's what he's trying to say. But in our Shastras, like we were talking about it, like Naresh ji was mentioning, that in Ramayana there is about multiverses, and then here it is about multiverses. In other Puranas there is so much more what should I say, more material is available in Vedanta, and also it stands the scrutiny of science. So both the things are there.
Should I continue?
Yes, Meeraji.
Anyone living as he does at any given day is but the product of the numerous yesterdays that he has lived in his intellectual thoughts, his emotional feelings, and his physical actions. The actions of the past, supported by the thoughts entertained and the valuations accepted by him, leave a distinct flavor upon his mind and intellect, and the future thoughts and their flow are controlled and directed by the previously made thought channel.
So that everybody understood, right? So we have certain values, certain emotional makeup and all that. That's how we are going to act. And another very worldly example is that once you have become educated, or you have gone into the school and learned engineering or whatever, done PhD or whatever, undergrad. Now somebody says, from tomorrow you act like a unpad khatoon. Will you be able to do it? The moment some book comes in front of you, you'll start reading. Yeah. So that's what it is. Whatever you're made up of, you can't change it that easily, And there are certain things that only go in one direction. You can't go back. Other things you can change, maybe. And this example of literacy I'm talking about. Once a literate, the whole life will be literate. Unless किसी को कुछ Alzheimer वगैरह हो जाए तो बात अलग है, but that's an exception. But this is what he's talking about.
Just as there is consistency of species in procreation, so also there is a consistency noticeable in the multiplication of thoughts. Just as frogs breed frogs and men breed men, or mango seeds germinate and grow to put forth mangoes, so too good thoughts creating good thought currents can multiply only into a flood of good thoughts. These thought impressions in the mind are vasanas that lie unmanifest to our sense organs and often to our own mental and intellectual perceptions, become manifested as gross actions, thoughts, and words, making our path of life either smooth or rough according to the texture and quality of the thoughts manifested.
So he's talking about our thoughts are connected with our vasanas. That's what he's talking about. And it's the same thing that, and then we read the next paragraph, everything will become clear what he's talking about. That when something goes in unmanifested form, that time we don't see the qualities. It's something like, seed of some fruit, say plum. When I look at the seed, no quality of the plum is in that seed, right? Just by looking at it, doesn't have the same smell or anything. But it is an unmanifested form. Only a plum will come out when I put it in the ground. So that's how it is saying that when we go to sleep or when it is unmanifested form, whether somebody is a daku or somebody is a very pious saint, और दोनों को बगल बगल में सुला दो और समझो twin brother है, समझो एक जैसे दिखते हैं, ओके जब वो लोग सो जाते हैं ना तब उनका चेहरा देखो एक जैसा दिखेगा, पता भी नहीं चलेगा कौन डाकू है कौन कौन सेंट है. जब वो उठेंगे तो वैसे ही बिहेव करेंगे, 5 मिनट में मालूम पड़ जाएगा कौन क्या है. राइट, दैट्स द पॉइंट he's trying to bring me.
Suppose a doctor, an advocate, a devotee, and dacoit are all sleeping in a rest house. While sleeping, all of them look the same, masses of flesh and bones, breathing and warm. The advocate is no way different from the dacoit, nor is the doctor different from the devotee. The specific qualities in each bosom at this moment, though totally absent from observation, are not non-existent, but they remain in a condition of dormancy.
So everybody understood this, right? This is called avyakta.
Yeah.
Now you know what it means. अव्यक्त एक्सप्रेस नहीं हुई है, डोरमेंट में है मगर है जरूर.
These unmanifested temperaments, capacities, inclinations, and tendencies come to project forth and manifest when they wake up, and once they leave the rest house, each will be pursuing his own particular thought tendencies. In the rest house, the doctor, the advocate, the devotee, and the dacoit were all in their unmanifest state, pralay, while they were asleep. But at dawn, when they woke up, these 4 different specimens became projected forth into manifestation. This, in the language of religion and philosophy, is called as creation.
Here is your answer of Meena ji. What exactly is creation? So that's what he's saying, that these 4 different types of people, when they are sleeping, everything is an unmanifested form, everything looks the same. Moment they get up, they all 4 behave differently according to their vasanas. Any question about that? This has been hammered, huh? Sorry.
Example is so good.
Exactly.
Good.
Swamiji is all these Swamis are master of giving a good example so that we understand. Yeah.
With this correct perspective of the process of creation, it would be certainly easy for us to understand the cosmic processes of creation and dissolution. The creator, or the total mind, during his waking hours of 1,000 eons, projects out the already existing vasanas, and at the approach of night, they merge verily into that alone, which is called the unmanifest.
Yes. So now you know that when there was a Hiranyagarbha, the word, then the total mind and the creator, and they had used the word avyakta in Kathopanishad also. That, beyond this world is that avyakta. That's what they were talking about. उसके भी beyond what क्या है वो next verse में बताएंगे कृष्ण भगवान. What is that factor, which is, but that we will do later. But for this particular 2 verses, the main thing to understand is the process of creation. What does it actually mean? So, and then the best way that we can, remember this is look at our own life and we will know that जब हम लोग सोते हैं तो अनमैनिफेस्ट में चला जाता है, जैसे ही सुबह उठते हैं वो मैनिफेस्ट हो जाता है जो भी हमारे अंदर भरा हुआ है दिमाग में.
Very true. It is insisted here by Lord Krishna that the very same multitude of beings are born again and again and merge in spite of themselves. Subjectively, this declaration provides us with a clearer understanding of how man becomes enslaved to his own thoughts and emotions. It is never possible that an animal man, pursuing consistently the life of sensuality, perpetrating unkind cruelties in order to satisfy his passions, can wake up overnight to be a gracious man of all perfections, however great his teacher, however divine the occasion, and whatever the sanctity of the place or the time may be.
So he's just talking about that avashah word जो उन्होंने डाला ना इसमें, helplessly they are born again and again, but we don't want to be completely dejected that as though we are caught in this cycle forever, because हमारे वेदांत में तो बहुत अच्छा मार्ग दिखाया हुआ है बाहर निकलने का. But if you don't do anything and if you just continue, then this is what's going to happen. And as far as, the worldly example, I think Urdu में एक word है ना, उसकी फितरत ही ऐसी है or something like that. Whoever knows a little bit, I think ऐसे बोलते हैं. तो मतलब he's made up of that kind of thing which change नहीं होने वाला. Yeah, just इसका तो स्वभाव ही ऐसा है.
Very good word. That
Yeah. So that he's talking about the fitrat over here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No teacher can or shall ever touch his disciple and thereby transform him instantaneously to a divine preacher, unless, of course, the student had the divine tendencies lying dormant and ready for manifestation in him. The moment anybody argues that even a rare instance of at least one great soul had been transformed in the past by one unique teacher, then there must have been some equally unique instance of some magician producing a laddu out of mud. In the latter case, we know that it was only magic and that the laddu was not produced from the mud. Similarly, intelligent people with some vague understanding of the science of life and with at least a little share of respect and devotion to the prophet of the Geeta will hoot down such a fantastic story. Such a story can be accepted only in a mood of poetic exaggeration used by the disciples in praise of their teacher.
I think Swamiji really blasted everybody who say कि भाई बस गुरु मिल जाएगा, गुरु छू देगा तुमको और तुम एकदम डिवाइन बन जाओगे, तुम लोग को मोक्ष मिल जाएगा. Fast track to moksha. No such thing. He's just saying that if it happened, and I know that Vivekanand ji के case में हुआ था, but Vivekanand ji was an extremely divine soul. And he was just waiting because the things was dormant in him that it just came out, or other Yogananda ji and all that. So if that does happen, that the credit still goes to the student only because he is made of that material. Like whoever is in, like Meera ji is in education and all that. Sometimes you come across a student, they may be coming from a very, not very good economic situation or something, and they didn't have the opportunity, but they're so bright, right? Suddenly they start flowering and they reach the heights. अपने मोदी जी, उनका like देखो तो चाय बेचते थे कहाँ पे और कहाँ because उनके अंदर potential था previous lives का. तो जब right atmosphere आया, मतलब right conditions हुई, तो he just flowered. वो possible है, but to say that somebody magically transforms someone, that's not possible. That's what he's trying to say.
The very same multitude of beings, meaning the very same bundles of thought impressions, an individual being, nothing other than the thoughts that he entertains, arrives at different fields of activity and states of consciousness in order to exhaust itself. In spite of themselves, avashya, is a powerful expression indicating the incapacity of an individual to disinherit himself from his past. The past always faithfully follows us like our shadow, darkening our path when we are turning our back to the light of knowledge and accompanying us submissively at our heels like a guardian angel when we turn towards the effulgent self and wend our way towards it.
So here Swamiji also gave us a hope. Firstly he said that what did he mean by this word avashah? We cannot get rid of our past. Everybody knows that, right? जो भी impressions they बोलते हैं ना कि there is no, what is that called? No reverse gear in this life. Right? So जो भी पास हमको उसको drag करके चलना ही पड़ेगा हमारे साथ. मगर the main thing he said about that past always faithfully follows us like a shadow. So, but what if we darkening our path when we turn our back to the light of knowledge. That's the main thing, that if we get away from light of knowledge, वो जो हमारा past है ना, वो हमको वो same रास्ते पे लेके जाएगा. But if you turn towards the light of knowledge, then it submissively will follow that. So that वो अपने को human life में एक दिया हुआ है freedom, that I have very strong tendency, but with my purusharth I can change it. You know, that's the main message over here in this paragraph.
On leaving a physical embodiment, the mind and intellect equipment continues its existence just the same way as an actor who drops down the apparels of the king at the close of the play and continues to exist in his individual capacity as the father of his children, the husband of his wife, and so on. The taking up of a physical structure and singing the song of one's mental vasanas in the form of actions is called creation. And when the equipment is thrown asunder, the thoughts and ideas, having no equipment to express themselves, become the unmanifested. A violinist playing on his violin makes the music in him manifest, and when the violin is kept away in its box, the music in the individual becomes unmanifest.
So then there is a lot packed into this one also. So he's just saying that how when we are in our unmanifested form, we have no equipment to express our vasanas, right? That's why it is in dormant form. The moment it gets the right condition, जब ब्रह्मा जी ने creation शुरू किया, and then he gave us this body and all that, we can express our vasanas. You know, that's what he's trying to say. I don't know if you guys understood that this violin that, you know, violin में potential,
Yeah.
That is a very good. So that, yeah, किसी ने बोला कि another example is, when are you called a driver? When you sit in the car and start driving, then you become the driver. But when you leave the car and come home, you're no more a driver at that time. So you need a car to drive to become a driver, you know? So same thing over here, that the potential form में all our vasanas are there, but once it gets the right conducive environment to express, then it will come out. And the other thing I wanted to bring out over here is that we should discuss in our study group that whatever life we get, actually it is absolutely the right life for us to progress. We don't think, हम लोग को हमेशा लगता है, लोग किसी टीनेजर को पूछो कि what would you like to change in your life, तो सबसे पहले तो वो सोचेगा अपना माँ बाप ही चेंज कर दो. Because दूसरों के बहुत अच्छे दिखाई देते हैं उनको माँ बाप, अपने माँ बाप दुश्मन ही दिखाई देते हैं. But the truth is, whatever family members you get, whatever problems you get and all, that is the right circumstances for you. You have ordered it for yourselves through your vasanas. It's very hard for us to accept. Even things like difficulties in our body that we get, you know, if you listen to those people who are like, have temporarily had died, you know, ND wale people, वो लोग बताएंगे तुमको कि कैसे जो हमारी जितनी भी डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन आती है, हम लोग ने अपने ऊपर रिस्ट्रिक्शन डाल के हम लोग पैदा हुए हैं ताकि हम लोग प्रोग्रेस कर सकें. You know, see what I'm trying to say? I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying. So in other words, you know, there is a drishtant ki there was one guy who said, you know, I don't like this one baggage he had. I don't like this, what I have. So they took him in the room where there were hundreds of baggages. Say, pick the one you like. तो वो पूरे कमरे में घूमता है और अपना ही बैगेज उठाता है एंड में. तो यही ठीक है. So यही तो बोला था तुझे. That's the drishtant, that whatever life we get, that is the right one for us. So we should just accept it as a gift of God or something. Hard to think about the truth. That's what the saints and sages say.
It's not just, it's a gift. Also, it's like giving you the chance that what you can do, it's been given for you to improve upon it, or yes, you can improve yourself upon it, you know, whatever you can do with it.
In fact,
that's how I look at it, that it's been given, why that situation has been given.
Correct.
You know,
You are right.
So because I have to. Why was it given? How can I improve or not improve? What was it that caused, and what I can do with it?
So
To see myself beyond what is the situation. To see myself beyond that
true.
situation. That's
And
what I'm trying.
sometimes, you have to literally go and hit the bottom to rise up again. Okay? And just look at the Bhagavad Gita itself. Arjuna और कृष्ण भगवान तो सब साथ में ही थे दोनों. They were friends, right? So they had so much association before this Bhagavad Gita was told to him. When was it told to him? When did he become ready? Forget about when was told, because कृष्ण भगवान को तो भगवद गीता पहले भी आती होगी, मगर उन्होंने कभी बताई नहीं अर्जुन को. अर्जुन was not ready. When did it become ready? When he hit the bottom. Or, there was a verse in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2 where he says that अगर मुझे सारे संसार का राज्य भी मिल गया ना, सारे संसार का छोड़ो, तीनों लोगों का राज्य, स्वर्ग का भी कोई मुझे अधिपति बना दे और मुझे मतलब अनचैलेंजिंग ढंग से बनाए, आराम से मेरे हाथ में आ जाए, तो भी मेरा जो विषाद है वो जाएगा नहीं. मेरे को इतना ज़्यादा मैं डाउन हो गया हूँ कि माई डिप्रेशन इज नॉट गोना गो अवे even if somebody gives me all that. That's when Krishna Bhagwan started. And then also, of course, Arjuna surrendered, because we are doing Bhagavad Gita, so we should remember those things. Arjuna surrendered, and then Krishna Bhagwan started.
Thing.
Yes.
That's the main thing. You have to surrender.
When did he surrender? When did he surrender? Yes. When all the other avenues became shut for him.
Yes.
Right? So sometimes, you have to hit the bottom to ask question, who am I? What am I doing here? All those things. So that all fits in over here,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we go?
Actually, one philosopher said, suffering is a gift from God.
Because of the same thing, because if you are just sitting and la-li-da everything, you're gonna you forget about God, you forget about everything else, keep eating your laddus
and you are God.
Yeah. और लड्डू की वैल्यू भी तब समझ में आती है जब डायबिटीज, जो डॉक्टर बोलता है कि you are pre-diabetic, then you realize the value.
But Umaji, one thing it said that made it very clear to me, that no matter what your vasanas are, whichever direction you are going, if you turn towards light, you can change.
Yes, that's why he put that sentence over there. Otherwise, you feel so kind of, Bhagwan is saying it's told you are helpless. तुम तो इस चक्कर से निकल ही नहीं पाओगे. जैसे ना, ऐसा नहीं है. खाली ये बता रहे हैं अगर तुम लोग, if you don't turn towards the light, तब क्या होगा, right? तब तुम फंसे रहोगे उसी में. Yes, that's what he's trying to say. Yes.
Okay, I'll just finish the last paragraph here. This realm of the unmanifest in each bosom undergoes constant change whenever it comes in contact with the world of manifestation and reacts with it. We have already known how change cannot take place unless it is upon a changeless substratum.
So this is also a very important thing that he is talking about. In the unmanifest state में ना कुछ नहीं होता है. It's like when we go to sleep, deep sleep में हम लोग कोई पाप या पुण्य नहीं कर सकते, right? Because हम कुछ काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. वैसे ही unmanifest में वो unmanifest हो जाता है. And then it undergoes constant change whenever it comes in contact with the world of manifestation and react to it. So that's why they say that the human life is so important, because now we have been given the equipment. Now you can change something if you want to. When you're in unmanifest form, you have no chance of doing anything, So that's what they're trying to tell you. And the other very, very powerful statement he made was, we already know that the change cannot take place unless it is upon a changeless substratum. That is, Swami ji ने इतने अच्छे से कई different commentaries में समझाया है. Scientific fact, for any change to happen, you need a changeless substratum. And we will see that when he goes to the next verse, he's going to explain that, about blackboard, that how in the blackboard, you have the board, but then you can write whatever you want. You can write chemistry and wipe it off. You can write science or anything, or history, or the movie. Screen is there, and screen is required for the movie to be projected. Without the screen, no movie, So those are the hard scientific facts. So if there is a change that we are experiencing, there has to be a changeless substratum, and which is Brahman, which is consciousness. That's what he's trying to say. So there is a connecting line over there. Is it in yours? It is a connecting line, or is it in the next one?
Yeah. It is start one sentence over here. Upon what permanent platform do the unmanifest come to play the drama of life?
So now, that's what is going to be the next verse that he's talking about, that consciousness. What उसको भी अव्यक्त ही बोलते हैं, लेकिन दो अव्यक्त होंगे.
आलू लाए हुए थे ना जरा big size.
Okay, let's see. Somebody's talking about aloo. Okay. All right. So he's talking about the two unmanifest. एक होता है ये जो वासना वाला unmanifest, और दूसरा one more unmanifest which is changeless, that he's going to talk about. So we will do that next week. But this was, I think, very heavy one. But any question, any comment? Anybody wants to add anything to this whole avyakt and vyakt? And what is the relationship with them? And how we cannot blame anybody for our life. That is the conclusion too. Yes. Yeah, otherwise it's so easy to blame. Dunya ko blame karo, Bhagwan ko blame karo, Or like the big question everybody asks, if there is a Bhagwan, then why there is suffering in this world? ये क्वेश्चन हमेशा हर एक सत्संग में आता है, कोई ना कोई लेके आता है ये क्वेश्चन. So
once you understand you are that, then you cannot blame anybody.
Exactly. Who you're going to blame? That's if you cannot blame anybody.
I mean, then the buck stops right there. You are that,
But you are just, कोई बोलेगा कि why are you doing all this hangama then? Why the world was created? And the best person to look at that, you look at a small baby. Not baby, no, toddler, because now our grandson is a toddler. The kind of games they play, why are they doing? A whole day they can do it. They just bring them so much joy. And sometimes such silly things bring them joy. It's so strange. Say, Daddy ji, sneeze. He wants me to artificially sneeze. And then it makes him so happy when I do that. Ha ha ha, he goes. It's like, wow. So we do silly stuff because they are the closest to God, right? So we have to do some hangama to just for our entertainment. Or all these sports and all that. Why do they do that, right? Like that, if you see that football of American football, if you don't understand what they are doing, they say, क्या कर रहे हैं लोग, एक दूसरे पे गिर रहे हैं, मर रहे हैं, और everybody's cheering. एक ball के पीछे भाग रहे हैं सभी. But how much is joy is bringing to the crowd में देखो जो लोग बैठे हैं. And even those people who are playing, I'm sure they get a lot of joy out of. उनकी टांगे टूट रही है, सर फूट रहा है तो भी वो लोग बहुत खुश हैं. So that's what it is. It's for whatever reason, we want some entertainment. So look at it as more like some kind of entertainment here.
One comment.
Yeah, sure.
On Minaji's comment of being bad. He says, I went looking for God and I found myself. When I looked within me, I found God. So how can you be bad?
Very profound statement, yes. Nice.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Sufi statement.
Beautiful. Yes. I love Sufi, bhajans and all. They are so deep, very much like Vedantins. Yes, Sufis are very much like Vedantin. And even I like that Oshoka statement, you cannot see God, but you can be God.
Yeah.
That also is very profound. Okay, so any other question, comment? Anybody wants to add anything? Okay, so we will do the next verse next time, because this was the commentary was very big. Okay, I'll close Bhagavad Gita here. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah moksha ishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.